Okay, what are you doing, Jordan?
I am removing the solid brake lines from the coupler that goes to the soft lines on my 87 S10. Because soft lines are dry rot and no good.
Just stripped it out.
Alright, so this is an 87 S10. Front brakes are bad. We're talking all the way from the lines, calipers, rotors, pads, redoing the whole thing. Here in the future, it's also going to get
Rear discs done.
Rear discs.
Rear drums. Rear drums.
Rear drums. It's also going to get the rest of the front end done. All the bushings, bump stops, pretty much everything's coming off of this front end. Not today, but in the near future. Axles. So it should drive like pretty much a new car.
Where are those gloves?
Huh?
Where are the gloves?
Gloves are up on the shelf over by the bench over there. You should go wash your hands first. But anyway, right now, disconnecting this piece right there. And then he's going to take it off all the way down to the caliper is going to come off. We'll just take that whole thing off at one chunk and save the hassle of disassembling it all on the car. Then he'll pop a new rotor on, new pads, new calipers, new hose, bleed them, go on to the next side. Then this thing will stop.
It doesn't really do that very well right now.
Because it's not a happy camper.
I'm surprised I'm not dead.
But anyway.
Gosh, these are big gloves.
They're my gloves, so I have big hands. Doctor, we're ready for your exam. Bend over, please. All right, let's see how fast Jordan can do this.
It'll be done pretty quick. If I can get a wrench on this stupid thing.
All right.
That's all fluid that's running out of there now. Oh yeah, I don't have any bolts holding my hard lines in where it crosses under my car.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah.
So we need to find some bolts for that.
Yep.
Okay. This is what you get when you buy a truck from a tweaker. You get to fix a lot of things that he decided to jump off of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you need what size do you need for that?
An inch. Give me an inch, I guess.
Alright, there we go.
It's bigger than an inch. It's bigger than an inch. Is this one bigger than an inch?
No. How much bigger than an inch?
Like, that's not an inch. This is 15, 16.
Oh, you had the... Sure it's 13?
Well, there's a thing in the way, actually. So... yeah, it's a 13.
Alright.
I'm just gonna have to get the box end on it.
There it goes. Dang, Daniel.
Back again with the white vans. Brake fluid.
That was a look of disappointment. Show me that again. Alright, so
brake
What we
fluids.
decided to do is go ahead and pull the bracket off of the frame and then continue that process down to the caliper. So we'll be right back with more from Jordan's garage. All right, so Jordan, what's the benefit to having a dad with tools?
You have tools that you can use instead of sitting here with crappy tools that break and give you a hard time. And when he's gone, I will have all his tools.
Yep, because he's already planning my death.
No, he's planned it himself.
Oh. Oh, look, the bracket came off. Okay, there's one.
Gross. Brake fluid.
Mmm, yummy.
The devil's whiskey.
DOT number 3. Drink it up, Buttercup. Hey, that stuff's expensive.
Yeah.
All right, process 1 is done. What have you done so far?
I have removed the soft brake line and the brackets along with it so that I can basically just pull the caliper off now.
Cool.
And then after I do that, I will pull this bracket off and put it back on the truck because my replacement does not come with that. It comes with the center one, but not the top.
So you just put the bracket on the hose, then attach it to the truck. Actually, you put the bracket on the caliper on the hose, on the hose on the caliper, then onto the bracket, then onto the truck. Did you take off a finger?
Oh, bleeder valve. Watch out for the bleeder valve. That hurts.
All right.
I don't know if it's bleeding or not. It doesn't feel like
You
it.
see any warm, gooey stuff inside your glove?
I just feel sweat. But blood usually just feels like sweat to me.
Yeah.
Until it either leaks out or I pull the glove off and I'm like, oh, there's blood in there. Bleeding is like second nature to me while I'm working on things. You're just sitting there and you look down and you're like, oh, I'm bleeding.
Not a good thing, son. I think you might have done.
Yeah, I think I'm done too on that one.
Maybe. There it is.
Yes. It just kind of needs a little push out.
Needs a little persuasion.
Just needs a little pokey thing.
There you go. Poke thing. Ta-da. Yep. So what, we got about $220 worth of parts that are going on this today?
Oh yes, my wallet is in great pain. My high school student income is gone. I have money for maybe a couple tanks of gas. It's a good thing there's like 2 weeks till payday. Whammy.
You see that thing?
There you go.
One rusty 30-some-year-old caliper.
Yep.
And
It's sideways.
they're not terribly worn, but you know, good enough to change them. Pop that disc off.
Yep, it should just come off. There you go. That goes to show that these brakes have never been heated up too badly because the rotor should just slide off like that. If they are heated up really badly, you might have to knock them off with a hammer. That minivan over there had the brakes heated up so bad that they were basically welded to the spindle.
And whose fault was that?
That was my dad's fault for
Oh.
riding the brake through the mountains.
Sorry, I should have shifted down.
But he knows that now.
I know better. I knew better then. I just do dumb stuff. Okay, so then there you can see the axle turning. That is going to be the next
It's
project.
going to be replaced in a future episode because this one over here can last a few more miles, but the one on the other side, these CV joints are done. They are to the point where they're going to start making loud noises and the boots are cracked. When this rubber boot in here starts cracking and falling apart, you know your CV joints are done and that you should buy a new axle because the rebuild kits for these are more expensive and cheaper. Well, cheaper made, and it's... I have a new respect for doctors. That was my middle finger, it's my ring finger.
To work, boy. All right. You got all your parts?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the...
I put all the hoses and everything.
Yeah, I was gonna put the hoses and stuff together first. Like, get this ready so it'll just kind of screw in there.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that, I need to get this bracket off.
Is that the right size?
Yeah. At least it's close enough to do the job. I wish I had a better way to grip this. Really wish I had a better way to grip this.
You want help?
Yes. Alright, let's do one easier. Let's take this over to the vise.
All right, so we're back. So far we got the caliper part, got the old rotors off.
Put the...
Found out that the backing plate is bent, so we're gonna have to order a new one of those.
It also has a big gaping hole through it.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to look like this.
So, once again,
More parts that I need to buy.
the moral of the story is, don't buy a car from a tweaker. Okay, so we got a
Don't
new...
buy old cars in general. Or if you are going to buy an old car, be prepared to replace every single part on it. Because it's an old car and they're worn out.
All right, so now we got
Now
new rotors. You're going to clean them. Hit that real quick, clean it up.
Yep, so what you want to do is you want to take your brake cleaner and spray around it and wipe it off with a paper towel before all the brake cleaner dries.
And what does that do?
What this does is it gets all the manufacturing oil off of the rotor so that when you're driving, the surface between the brake pad and your rotor is dry and not oily. Because when it's oily, your brakes don't really work because oil is slick. You want to do the same from the backside too. It's not a one surface brake like a drum is. This is a disc brake and it has twice the surface area to stop.
Cool. All right.
Yep.
So that's clean.
It's clean, new, and shiny. Old rotor, new rotor. The only difference is this one's shiny. At least it should be the only difference. And it's the only difference. You just gotta check to make sure that you don't put a bigger rotor on than you're supposed to. Because if your rotor is too big, it's not going to allow for your caliper to clear. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. I'm going to take the pins out of my caliper here. Should just slide out like that.
New one, old one.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Then I'm gonna grab my pads from over here. Oh, that's nice. I need to put the clip on it, I think. Yep. So these two pads are different. Some newer cars use the same pad because it's cheaper to manufacture. But this is the outer pad where it has this ledge here that hangs on the outside of the caliper, and this is the inner pad, which grips onto the inside of the piston in the brake caliper. And the difference between these is one's newer and one's older. Split the bag in half there. Okay, these should work because this one's got the clip built into it as opposed to these ones, these style pads, which need an additional clip. So these ones should just pop right in like that and like that. So if you're going to replace just the brake pads and not the caliper, you're going to need to either get a clamp or a caliper compressor, which squeezes the piston in the caliper back down to normal. Because if you were going to just replace it, you need to press that back in. But we don't need to do that. It's brand new and shiny. Okay, there we go. Right, no, it's not going back on, right? These old brakes are fun because they usually, like this one does, they make sure they're as hard to put together as possible by making it so that it uses minimal clips and minimal things to keep it together while it's out of the car. Which means that my clip right now in it was stuck sideways. Kidding me?
All right, there's the finished product. Jordan's got it all wrapped up in there. He ran in the house to cool down because didn't mention that we are in Arizona. It is July 13th and it's 104 degrees outside. So it's been fun with the phone shutting down several times because it got too hot. But anyway, so there is the front brake line, hose, caliper, and rotor replaced on a 1987 Chevrolet S10 four-wheel drive 2.8 liter V6. Have a great day.